Well, 4 p.m. We started with the Legion. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item is the consent agenda. I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda, which includes the regular session minutes of November 14th, account payable registers of November 10th, 11th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 23rd, and 29th. New course proposals, the Treasure Mountain soil removal contract, travel requests, personnel information, board revenues and expenditures for November 23.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as stated.
Second. Okay, any discussion on any of these items?
I don't have discussion, but just to comment on the soils contract. Obviously, I'm happy to approve it needs to be done, but you know, I hope we'll have full transparency on not just the cost of that, but you know what the cost would have been and where the money is coming from. I think at minimum we have to see that. So I hope that may be coming later, but that's just my thought.
So I can share with you right now we've got it allocated for capital reserves.
Okay.
We did build in last year's year-end budget, contingency money, both in operations and capital, not knowing what the amount is gonna be, but that's where we've got it slated for right now. Part of that will be a year-end decision to see how the two different funds are doing. To make the best bet there, but yeah.
They're not affecting anything else.
Correct, it's not, we're not using ongoing funds for that, we're using those in reserves and we had set aside.
Okay.
For those.
So it's coming out of capital costs, and it's $1.6 million, so, yeah, for anyone who was concerned that the numbers should have been greater in the $10 to $13 million range, again, that's not really that accurate.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions or comments on that? All right, perfect. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that is approved. We will go into employee group reports. We have hello, Ms. Morgan.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to be really short because I have another meeting. PTA doesn't have anything pressing to report on tonight. Teachers are doing a fabulous job of keeping students on track academically this week, as much as possible. PCA leadership continues to work with the DO towards solutions, and we'll be extending an invitation to board leadership to join us in a few of those discussions in the upcoming months. We value the time and encourage open dialogue, and we hope everyone has a wonderful break and a safe holiday season. And happy Hanukkah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jen Branson, PCCA. We want to start, I forgot last time to thank you all for celebrating, I guess, no, it was November, for celebrating our ESPs on National ESP Day. The embroidered all-weather blankets were thoughtful and appreciated. Many people have no idea what an ESP or educational support professional is or does. By recognizing ESPs yearly, you help to raise awareness of the valuable work they do. I'm sure Mr. Tamlin will mention transportation is super happy. They have 2 new bus drivers driving, new hires in training. With all the new drivers, dispatch secretaries and mechanics can focus on their assigned jobs and their relieved. Subs have been plentiful this year for ESPs, and employees are appreciative of the excellent service EDGE staff is providing.
Wow.
That's a great big.
Thank you for the feedback.
That's a big change. I mean, I'm shocked every time I apply, I get a sub. Let's see. I have been traveling around to other districts as ESP of the year, having paraprofessional listening tours. And I just want to brag on you all and what you did with the ESP raise. I'm finding that most districts are paying paraprofessionals about $12 an hour, and they work 29.5 hours and have no benefits. And you all just really are leading the way by setting that example. And I think we've seen the benefit of that we have full positions this year. So just wanted to thank you and let you know that, I mean, sadly, I guess sometimes money is what needs to. That's it. People are really happy. They're still talking about their raises. So thank you.
Thank you.
So this week is really busy for us. Since it's a week before holiday break, we have an event every day this week. And 4 out of the 5 are after school events. So yesterday, Monday, we had a dodgeball tournament. We had a teacher team compete and win. They did really nice.
No one got hurt.
Nobody got hurt. And then on Tuesday, today, we have our bonfire at 5. And then we have tomorrow, Wednesday, we have our movie night also at 5. I believe the movie the student body decided on was Elf. And then on Thursday, we have a stomp, which is an hour-long dance in one hallway in the school. And that's from 7 to 8, and it's a junior senior only event, and it should be really fun. And then on Friday, we also have our talent show. We had 2 acts cancel on us, but in total we have 8 acts.
Awesome.
And that's all I have.
Thank you. Thank you. Teaching and learning updates.
Okay, so here's an update on what the team's been working on. You approved the new courses. I wanted to give you a little bit of context about that. The first one was a data science course. It lives in the math department. It would be taught at the level of a secondary math 3 course. It is being piloted right now by USBE and other school districts, and then we will pick it up next year. But this data science is where the future of work and workforces are going. So we're very excited for that approval. You also approved the capstone project for advanced placement. Students are already doing this, but this will give it a course code and a number and ability to reflect it more on the transcript. The other courses were all things to work on building out our existing CPE pathways. For example, the drone capstone. And then the private pilot, splitting that course into 2 will allow students to completely finish ground school during their academic year. And then you added the law enforcement and the sports and outdoor recreation marketing, which is also part of an existing pathway. So we're working hard on making sure that those pathways are built out and that they are strong, but they don't need any additional teachers. They would all be absorbed by teaching power that we have. Our focus in teaching and learning this whole fall and during this year is improving our collaborative processes to impact instruction positively. The secondary schools have been focusing on creating high functioning PLCs, focusing on formative assessment, because when you're starting to make sure that students are proficient, they're working on all of that, that's an important element to use formative data to guide future instructions. And that means that we're also working on establishing those priority standards and building out the proficiency scales. A lot of that work had been done, but it isn't all meshing. And that is part of what those PLCs are working on in secondary. In elementary, we're also focusing on our professional learning communities. They work through inquiry cycles. We do this at secondary too, but in elementary, they're being very successful this year. They identify a standard and clearly define the success criteria for that specific learning target. They teach it, they're watching each other, they're conducting that inquiry cycle. We're in our 2nd inquiry cycle. We're already planning for our 3rd. There's about 3 in a year. They go over several weeks. The PLCs discuss the trends in the student learning, and they analyze their instructional practice, and they focus in on groups that need additional support. So when we talk about our results, so we're just letting you know that we're really working on those academic cycles. The final thing I wanted to share was about the realignment task force subgroups and committees. So teachers have formed into committees. They're meeting about once a month and looking at the elements of realignment. And right now, last month and this month, they've been reviewing research on best practices related to all kinds of things that go with our realignment, such as educational pathways, technology, transitions, advisories, start times. So they're working on gathering that up, and then we'll bring that back to their focus group facilitators and bring it back to the guiding groups so that they can start building some proposals that can be then brought in the late spring here to be shared with other stakeholders on the board so that decisions can be made moving forward. Thank you. Thank you.
Operations report, please.
Good afternoon. This is a board operations report from the 12th of December, 2023. Buildings and grounds remains fully staffed and operations are running smoothly at all schools. Our first major snowfalls of the season were managed very well by the ops team. Ops and ECHL staff met with the Sundance organization today to discuss the festival logistics that's just around the corner for us. Facility walkthroughs and a stakeholder survey were conducted for master athletic facility planning efforts. Ops is going to meet with Parks and Municipal and Basin Recreation shortly after the first of the year to discuss modifications to the longstanding interlocal agreement. Everyone's needs have evolved over the years, and so we're going to try to capture the best practices in any document for everyone. And because of that, a one-year extension of the interlocal agreement was approved by the Basin Rec Board a couple of weeks ago. Due to construction safety and egress requirements, the Eckerd Hill Middle School gym will not be authorized for extracurricular activities in the evening with Basin Rec this year. Staffing, utilities, supply and maintenance costs were identified for the Jeremy and the Poland edition, and they're looking at the annuals of the FY25 budget. And Stacy will speak a little bit more about that tonight and the cost for the pre-K programs. Transportation, as Jen mentioned, we've got 2 new drivers recently became operational. 2 more will start training very soon, and 2 more are in the screening and double hiring process. With the 2 new drivers, the office staff and mechanics been able to return partially to their day jobs. With the additional new drivers, transportation plans to reestablish full service into Deer Valley, hopefully in early February. The Zonar bus locating service is fully operational, and parent instructions and PR push were distributed for anyone who wants to see where their kids' buses. They have the option to do that now. Child nutrition services remain fully staffed, operations are running smoothly, and morale is high. John and his team will begin full-scale Eckerd Hill Middle School meal production from the new kitchen when students return from break. And the McPolin walking cooler project is progressing well with the new freezers to be operational this week. Human Resources distributed a memo to all employees last week regarding the bonus structure for resignations notification. And HR is working with EMS to analyze results of the district-wide job description and compensation study. Security, Park City School District was awarded $927,000 in security funds from the House Bill 61 grant process. That'll help us with a lot of security projects over the next coming years. A grant package was submitted to secure compensation for House Bill 61 to require school safety specialists. Artificial intelligence camera-based firearm detection platform, Zero Eyes, is being installed with a target completion at the end of this calendar year. Internal threat assessment, or CSTAG it's called, will be conducted tomorrow for all of our admin and mental health staff during the admin meeting. And we hope to have standard response protocols running for all admin later in the year as the admin meeting calendar allows. Any questions?
Great job on getting the grant money.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's phenomenal. $1 million.
Yeah, this is nice.
Our staffing with the new hires, are we fully staffed in transportation?
We're just about there. We've got, like I said, 2 that we just hired. We're so far in the hole that all of our drivers and all of our office staff are hired. So we just got the 2 who are starting to return those folks back to their day jobs. With the 2 that are in training and the 2 more that are possibly entering training, that'll get us to real close to being fully staffed for the first time in 5 years, 6 years.
Thank you. I have a quick question follow-up about security stuff. I'm just wondering if we could explore, I know that we have jurisdictional, we have Park City Police here and town, the Kearns campuses have a full-time SRO. And I believe the other campuses don't have full-time SROs. And I would love to consider what that looks like in a budget to get an SRO at each campus. And because I believe the structure is that we split costs. And if, I don't know if this grant money is tied to more technology related security, or if it could be tied to something like this. And what that process might look like, we can explore that with the sheriff's department.
Yeah, with the Park City Police Department, we do share costs
Right.
with an SRO agreement that's there that we are in the process of upping right now. And we expanded a little money into it last year, as you may have remembered,
Mhm.
in the budget cycle. And that has been reviewed alongside the new requirements in House Bill 61. So that's kind of the model.
Okay,
And we're looking to possibly do that with Summit County Sheriff's Office.
right.
As you know, we've got a dedicated police officer at the high school, an SRO.
Mhm.
We also have an assistant who used to be a Parks and Police officer who works in security there. And we have hall monitors that try.
Mhm.
And so, the House Bill 61 money that we secured, I did ask for money for additional
Oh,
hall
great.
monitors and for SROs. The problem is that an SRO costs you 150 to 160 grand
Yeah.
a year. So what I'm hoping is that I did get that allocated for record. When we moved the 6th grade and
Yeah.
8th grade, so we have 6th, 7th, and 8th there, but more of a need for
Yeah.
to have that there.
Okay,
And so what I'm gonna do is take that money with the Southern County Sheriff's Office and say, listen, we got some seed money here, maybe
Okay.
it's gonna cost for a couple of years to get this program up and running.
yeah, that'd be great.
Because the police departments have also access to grant funds
Yeah.
that they use for those kind of
Yeah.
things. So that was my thought with that, and we also got some additional money for hall monitors
Okay,
on the Kearns campus. The money that we did receive is basically prescriptive buckets by school.
Yeah.
And so
Okay.
it's split between, like I said, Eckerd, big ask there was for the SRO,
Mhm.
but it also has money for cameras, door things, and also to help us integrate our existing security platform into
Yeah.
new construction.
Okay,
So, we've got 3 years to spend that money.
okay,
And, now that we have it secured, it's time to go talk to some county sheriff's office, and say, hey, we'd like to
Right.
it's especially since 6, 7, 8, can do it.
yeah. Appreciate that. Thank you.
And would this zeroized technology be implemented at every campus?
Yep. With about 650 cameras in our fleet right now, all of those will be energized. Okay, thank you.
Okay. What you go then?
Thanks, cheerful note there, Mr. Dugan. All right, so a new template here, don't want you to get bored. New slides, to look at this one. So. Can I define this promising practices from the district, threading the needle on student success? Our winter break, oh, sorry, you guys ahead of the slideshow. There we go. Thought I'd remind everybody of winter break. It's right around the corner. When school ends on Friday, December 15th, students will return on Tuesday, January 2nd, because Monday would be the holiday, the New Year holiday. But I do hope that everybody enjoys their family, their friends, and our Park City snow over this 2-week break. Are you looking at a live one, Lori, or is that a PDF one? Or
This is
sorry,
a PDF.
It's a PDF, got it, okay. Congratulations to Deb Alcox. You probably, if you were here earlier, you saw that scrolling
the accolades. She was recognized by a student from the class of 2027 at the University of Chicago as being an outstanding and influential educator in that student's career. So a really fun recognition from a high prestigious university, a high achieving university. It was fun to see that. And they did a fun recognition online, and then she got a whole bag of University of Chicago swag, right? Universities are smart in marketing that. Eckerd Hill Middle School won the prestigious La Belle France Education Award, and only under 300 schools have earned that designation or that recognition. So the students in the DLI program were able to gather and receive that recognition and celebration, which was really fun. Okay, next picture. Are you clicking for me? I'm trying. Oh, thank you. All right, I have to share this quote from Dr. Kingnap. Jacqueline, as you know, is the director of special education. She does such a phenomenal job and does a great job of getting news and information out. On December 2nd, it was National Special Education Day, but one of the quotes that she had in an article, she was interviewed about the special ed program. She said, "Our special education teachers are the unsung heroes in our classrooms, tirelessly nurturing every child's unique strengths and talents. Their patience, empathy, and unwavering commitment are not just a profession, but a calling to make a difference in every student's life." And I thought that was such a meaningful thing to say. I wanted to make sure I shared it with all of you in case you hadn't seen it in the article. And Colton probably recognizes there in the audience. I'm highlighting in these congratulations some of the articles that he's done recently. And so you can find all of these on the main page of the school district website. This is a brand new recognition. Our Future Business Leaders of America, FBLA, which is part of our CAPS program at the high school, participated in a regional competition in a new region, has 14 other high schools, many large high schools, and yet our students still had the top 5 finishes in 23 different categories, with 6 of the 23 categories being first place finishes. So it's really exciting for the students and great practical application of what they're learning in school. Then one other recognition I want to make sure I share is NOAA Canada has received the U.S. Senate Youth Program Delegate Award or recognition. There are 2 students in Utah who will be going to Washington, D.C. in March, and they get a chance to meet legislators and be on the Hill. And really exciting for Noah, and he'll be a great representative. We're really excited for him. All right, promising practices. We have a few ideas I'm so happy to share with you tonight. Staff and family engagement tool, which we started using last year. Preparing for universal preschool, which you're going to hear much more information about from the preschool team, but I'm just going to give a little overview. How we're implementing the K-12 wellness plan, how we're monitoring our equitable outcome, and a little bit on secondary realignment. So the Innovate K-12 platform is a survey tool. So it's different from Qualtrics, Qualtrics has more like a Google form survey kind of check the box thing. Innovate K-12 is more of a qualitative, so people can actually input ideas and suggestions. So we've used that tool for things like what should be the future use of the treasure site, and what should we be doing about parent-teacher conferences. So I don't have the results on parent-teacher conferences yet, but it's a really nice platform that shows a lot of promise, because the external firm does an analysis of the key themes that are emerging from the questions, and then gives you as a district kind of some high-level external feedback on things you might want to try next, some high-level action steps. So it's a nice partner, sort of a thought partner. So I had the opportunity to ask all of the superintendents in Utah to participate in a short survey on this platform. So I asked them what has helped, what's a promising practice that has helped them move their school community forward, and then what have been the barriers. And as diverse as we are across Utah, I could not believe how many similarities came up in this particular mini study. So expanding access to education was a big one. So for some school districts, the answer was full day kindergarten, because this is their first year of full day kindergarten, if you can imagine. But for others like us, we talked about preschool and about reading coaches. So that was really fun. Community engagement and communication seemed to be a topic throughout the state. How can we enhance communication and collaboration with all stakeholders? Equity and inclusivity came up third across the state. focus on equity and inclusivity as an important theme, aiming to address disparities and promote fairness. So this again came up large districts, small districts. The next was innovative teaching and learning. So lots of people across the state talking about structured literacy routines, personalized competency-based learning, having student-centered approaches, new assessment methods, and then professional development and support, which, you know, we always need. The barriers were also very similar across the state, which I was surprised about. Communication and perception gap. I thought we were unique in that, but we are not unique. Across the state, people talked about the wonderful things going on in schools, but that not necessarily being shared broadly in the community, or the community not understanding the good work happening in schools. Political and regulatory challenges. I was interested to hear a lot of us were facing that. And then educational and behavioral issues. Providing adequate ESP support came up as one. Dealing with severe behavior issues and attendance problems was another. And then leadership and organizational challenges such as training requirements and then also turnover. And then structural or procedural challenges like how do you effectively fund education and what happens when you do have to raise taxes. So I found that fun, and I was able to share this with superintendents across the state earlier this month, which was really a great opportunity. Here, as you know, in Park City, we are preparing for universal preschool. But did you know that the tiny humans born last year in 2022 are actually the high school graduating class of 2040?
Did you want to see it all?
Right, so when we're talking about things here, I think sometimes we forget, but in these regular business meetings, we are literally talking about planning for the future of education and a whole next generation. So we have this wonderful opportunity to imagine, dream, envision, you know, what are these rooms going to feel like and look like? And what kinds of interaction are the kids going to have? And we have, we are planning to increase access, which the team will talk about tonight. And we know that preschool is a true investment. It's an investment in the community. It's an investment in the future generation. We are, as you know, implementing a K-12 wellness plan, and that is throughout the district. So throughout the district, we have monthly themes. We have some integrated lessons that teachers can incorporate. This could be everything from a breathing activity, like a mindfulness activity, to a problem-solving activity that we might do. And what the base team has been doing each month is they have been posting in the district newsletter and on the website these ideas that parents can do at home. So it's actually a connection with home. So parents can ask students questions about what's going on in their classrooms related to the theme of the month. So in December, our theme is honesty, integrity, and responsibility. And you can ask questions like in preschool. I can tell the truth, follow directions, and be a responsible student and friend. And you can talk about these concepts with your child because we're talking about them in school. And then you go all the way with questions, even all the way up to 12th grade. Another thing that we are doing though, is one of our school psychologists is actually being named a district wellness coach. So we're again going to bring this concept and some consistency across the district. So he'll start in January. He's been wonderful, and he was doing a tour today, and he's been following up. His first questions were on safety and security with Mr. Tanner. So even though he's been here working as a psychologist, he still wants to know from this big picture role what things need to be shared, so that if kids come to him or adults come to him with a concern, he's got the, you know, the right information. We are working as a district, as you know, on ensuring educational equity, and this means access, opportunity, and invitation to participate. And we have so many wonderful milestones with this. Our vision and mission was updated in 2017, and that was on the slideshow earlier this evening. Removal of all academic fees or barriers, adopting the policy in 22, and then in 22-23, we're still underway with our equity assessment, where we've been having focus groups. We are developing a curated educational equity and outcomes PD with a doctoral candidate out east. She's building it for us. Our outreach liaisons have been here for over 15 years. That was a very first step into equity and access. The Dream Big program and the Bright Futures program were visited by Title III directors across the Wasatch Front this past week, and they were able to come and see the things that we're doing. And many of those Title III directors left and said, we want to replicate this at our schools. The most notable was West High School in Salt Lake, which we were really happy about. So that would be a great program to start anywhere. Our Park City Community Foundation, as you know, they've come and presented to us. In about 2020, they started helping students who need support with extracurricular fees. So that's a wonderful partnership. We had a great keynote this year from Erica Battle talking about expanding opportunities for students. We've had intentional invitations and outreach to students to increase AP participation. And we've had a lot of good success with a 76% pass rate, even though we've increased the amount of tests through the years. Park City is one of the only high schools in Utah to earn the Platinum Honor Roll designation, as well as the Access Award. Our concurrent enrollment data we shared, I think last month, 1.2 million families have saved in tuition costs by having students access the concurrent enrollment courses right here in high school. And our PC CAPS program is showing through an external review, because we do the Perkins grant. So they do an analysis, and we actually do have reports like this that we receive. I know these are very little. You probably can't see the exact breakout of these, but it's basically in yellow are the classes that are very popular for students to access maybe their first AP class. And then in green are the courses where we have a high proportion of targeted students being invited to participate and then succeeding in these AP courses. So you'll see that our students really enjoy the AP psychology course. AP pre-calculus, believe it or not, is a very popular course in our schools. The AP art 3D design, popular course. French language and Spanish language, because as you know, we have a lot of 50% of our kids are in BLI programming. So kind of fun, but we do get this data that we review to see how the programs are doing. A new project that we've taken on this year is something called a Student Insight Card. Students and teachers at the high school in the 10th and 11th grade years take a survey, and then we receive this report back that talks about student strengths, their learning mindsets, any reported barriers they may have, and comments that they want to share with their counselor and their teachers. And then the teachers have a chance to identify kids that they think that even if their GPA is not the highest, but still have strong interest and potential to invite those students into courses that they might not know exist, or they might not know the pathway to that course. So we have just received these student insight cards. As you can tell, they're beautiful. You know, they come as a PDF. A parent will be able to see it during the 4-year meeting. The students can see what they generated. And then, of course, the teachers can get a quick look at how to maybe have a conversation with a student. Oh, I learned that you want to be a surgeon. What are some ways I can help you and put you on this, science pathway? And some of these activities are intentional and benefit all kids, but they certainly do open doors. Because if a student doesn't know how to study AP or how to enroll in a course, that's something we can easily help with. As I mentioned earlier, we do have a future focus, and we are going to look at, obviously graduation is always, our biggest success story, right? It's the best day to see everybody come together and celebrate each class. But you're going to see in the future, I think, different ways that students leave, not just with a GPA, but with other, what these might be called badges, opportunities and access to things like a certification in AI use, or a certification in emotional intelligence, things that people can take right into career, military missions, college, career. And we do have a team, Stacey mentioned the focus groups. We are working on a vision of what should the secondary alignment prepare us for. And that is having a vision of the future, being solutions oriented, working on what our current challenges are and how to prepare through shared beliefs, the best opportunities and outcomes for our kids. So they're leaning on the vision and mission and the strategic pillars but then moving us forward to a portrait of the graduate, PCBL, and, great deep knowledge of subject areas. And then just, we'll quote here at the end, we really do need to always have the mindset of preparing our students to become architects of a world we can only begin to imagine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Any questions for the superintendent? Okay, we move on to 4.01, which is the facility update.
So construction update, just want to remind the public that with all schools, the projects have been planned to minimize educational impact, ensure safety for students and staff, and minimize traffic and parking disruption. We have weekly construction meetings that are held with the architects, builders, and district staff to ensure timely tactical coordination and decision making. MOCA is also coordinating bi-weekly owner meetings for important strategic updates and decisions, and MOCA is our owners representative. For the high school, the construction is on schedule. Mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and HVAC work continues. I don't see structural steel right now going up at a rapid pace, along with masonry, and substantial completion. We plan for spring of 2025. Ecker Hill Middle School is on schedule. Again, MEP work for the HVAC and fire protection systems continue. Masonry work on the north side expansion is underway. Slab on grade is poured in area B, and structural steel is being set for the gym expansion. The kitchen will return to full production after break. Again, substantial completion there of spring of 2025. Jury Ranch is on schedule. Interior framing, insulation, and drywall work continues. The mechanical engineering and plumbing work for HVAC continues for the fire systems. Exterior siding, architectural treatments, and window frames are being installed. New site fencing and railing is also installed. The furniture, fixtures, and equipment order was finalized for ordering that for Jeremy. And we'll have that project completed this summer. McMullen is also on schedule. Interior architectural elements are underway, painting the walls, hard sealing and soffit finishes. We're installing exterior architectural window and siding panel treatments. Interior installing the ceiling grid, millwork cabinetry, and interior glass. Again, the interior MEP for HVAC, similar to what's going on in Jeremy for the fire systems, that work continues. Interior walls and ceilings are being finished and painted, and architectural elements are being installed. Again, here the furniture, fixture, and equipment order was finalized. Substantial completion next summer of 2024. Carly's Park is on schedule. Interior work is underway. Sound walls are installed to minimize the educational impact. Interior demolition of the existing kindergarten, multi-purpose, and music rooms continue. Exterior demolition of some concrete, asphalt, landscaping continues. Exterior relocation of the grease interceptor is underway. And footing excavation is underway for the east side building expansion. Substantial completion in October of 2024, just after the school year starts. Trail site, we've started our coordination with the county, the U.S. State Board of Education for our project numbers, and rezoning applications are in progress, or the CUP application is in process. Design work has resumed. We'll start to work on that project this coming summer, with substantial completion a year later in the summer of 2025. A reminder to the board and to the public that we have a construction summary that's written in layman's terms. That narrative is posted on the district website. We have the district's owners representative with us here, JB, if anyone has any questions that I can't answer for them. Soil mitigation is front and center right now. The final MMP approval is anticipated this week, which grants Park City School District the authority to remove the soils. An RFP solicited contractor was awarded for Treasure Mountain Junior High soil removal and transport services, and that's what you include tonight in the consent agenda. The first route for removal will be the 18th to 29th of December. Round 2 will be over February break, and round 3 will be over spring break. And work begins sunrise on the 18th of December. A small pile will be removed first, and more of the larger pile removed as time allows. We'll have up to 12 trucks per day, doing 2 turns a day. That should give us a capacity of about 720 cubic yards of removal capability a day once the operation gets up. The Treasure Mountain Junior High campus will be closed to everyone but removal personnel during this time.
How many total days of removal?
Oh, I'm sorry.
How many total days is it gonna take to remove this?
You know, while we have the capacity to go pretty fast, I suspect that it's probably gonna be a little slower to get things started, get the operation up and running. We also have the variable of weather, that's in there and ski traffic. So while in a perfect world, it would take us about 3 weeks to move things, it may take a little longer based on those variables, so we'll just have to see how it plays out.
I was gonna say, if we have a major blizzard or 5 feet of snow, does that bring them to a halt, or would they just have a workaround?
It does. We have, our project manager on site who, works with R&R, is gonna have tactical control. And if he deems that there's, some restriction that is not convenient to work around, so put a halt to the work that's happening. We're prepared to remove snow up those piles if we need to, but if we have heavy winds that may impact, 70 feet long in the air, that's not desirable, or ice, where we can't access the piles. We hope to have the trucks be conflicted with the ski traffic that will get there before sunrise and go. After the skiers get here, we leave and then come back for the second round before the skiers leave for the day. So that's the plan of attack.
Where's it going, you know?
We've got 2 different sets of landfills that it's going to. One's a little further away than the other. Out towards Wasatch Regional is one of them, and then we got 3 other potential sites that are a little closer that we can dispose the larger pile to. So it kind of depends on who's available.
Assuming we have to break it up into stages from one pile, rather than doing the good pile once, we're gonna have to recap.
Yeah, there's a provision within the materials management plan that if we, and we will likely have to do that, then we will seal up the pile again, if we terminate operations before next time we land. Okay.
Thank you, Brian. Help with
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Just keeping the costs down. It's a tricky one. So
Right.
appreciate your work. Great job. Yes.
Thank you. Have fun.
Thank you. Okay, 5.01 preschool program expansion. Kids are so.
Thank you.
So we're hearing that in the board docs that for some reason the slideshow isn't showing a couple of the slides. We will work on fixing that. Lori can see it, I can see it on my phone, but the superintendent cannot see it. 2 of the slides, so we'll see it here, but we'll make sure you get everything. We're not sure why some of us can see it and some of us cannot.
Did you email, is that from you?
Yeah,
Okay, so look at the email one.
either one.
Okay.
Hopefully it'll show.
Okay. So, do you know all of us? So,
I'm just another pretty face.
okay. So let's introduce ourselves and do our roles, so everybody knows, so.
Hi, Claire, community in.
I'm Dan Gallagher, preschool director.
And I'm Stacy Briggs, teaching them. Okay.
So thanks for having us. Up here you can see how far we've come. It's been inspiring to be in these buildings and see just in the last few weeks, the paint go up, backboard go up. You really get a sense like we're gonna be entering these places soon. So first and foremost, we just want to acknowledge and thank you, the board, the cabinet, the committees that have put a lot of time, energy, and commitment into getting these places ready to go. And we also want to thank the community at large for voting through that bond so that this can happen. So what we're proposing is we'll move in the fall of 24. Right now, McPolin and Jeremy both have 3 classrooms. The spaces allow for 6. So to expand our 4-year-old program, we want to add 2 classrooms at McPolin and 2 classrooms at Jeremy for our 4-year-olds. We sent out a community survey a few weeks ago. We got some terrific response pretty quickly. We got 86% saying that they need 5 full days or 5 full days plus aftercare. That's 271 out of 316, which is a resounding, we need more.
We got that feedback within 72 hours. We didn't have to hound anyone for it. They were like, we need you to know this is what we need.
So why are we here in front of you now? December is a crucial time for young families, planning for their young children. It means wait lists and considerations of affordability when it comes to preschool options and childcare, non-refundable deposits. And, planning for that takes months and months of time. So we're requesting expansion approval now. So for our district, just to give you an overlay, in January, we opened registration for current 3-year-old families that are in our program, Park City School District employees, and community partners that work with a variety of families in our community. So the Christian Center, Holy Cross Missions, places like that. And then in February, we opened it up to the entire community. So the needs from the survey really outline that families want 5 days, they want the extended day, and they want it district-wide. So what we're proposing is to increase our FOIL capacity, like I said, at both those sites, to add 4 additional classes, to move to 5 days per week, add that 5th day that mirrors the kindergarten, 5th grade.
At all 4 sites.
All 4 sites, 7:30 to 3 is what will be available to families, and then after-school care, from 3 to 6 with community ed. So our staffing needs, we need to move 5 hours to every single 4-year-old employee. So that's 20 staff, 10 lead teachers, and 10 teaching assistants. Add 4 additional classified lead teachers and 4 additional classified aides. And we want to expand the registered days to support with onboarding and our families. All this, the extended day can't be done without this partnership with community ed. So we want to ensure that our students receive high quality preschool programming until 3, and then an enriched continuation of that day with community ed. So we'll collaborate and do ongoing PD to make sure that we're doing developmentally appropriate programming. This table breaks down our tuition proposal. So on the left there, you have a 4-year-old 5-day tuition, and it's $780 per month. Sliding scale tuition would be $125 per month. For after school, it's gonna be $400 per month. Sliding scale will be $65. Our 3-year program is staying the same next year. So it'll be $175 per month. The tuition is going up a little, and the sliding scale is $75 per month. When I mean it's staying the same, the program offering will be the same for our 3-year-olds.
So just 2 half days?
2 half days. We also want to work with workforce services on their childcare subsidy to offset to get to full tuition costs for families that are qualified for the sliding scale. So what does all this mean for our students and our families? What are the outcomes? We'll have more access, we'll reach more students, more families. And when we think about preschool curriculum and what we need to get students ready for, it's school. We need to get them, have those school readiness skills, behavior, wellness, oral language development. And like Dr. Gilday, you're talking about interactions between adults and students. And so we really want to grow that. And we also want to continue to offer services for students with disabilities and follow child funding. So this table talks through our budget history, and this is academic programming only. So in the last 2 years, including this year, 10 sections of 3s and 4s with 23 staff. As you can see in 22, 23, the total program cost was $901K. Tuition and the donation from the Ed Foundation was $509, and then the PCSD allocation was $391. For 23, 24, 2024. That number was 1.234 million. With tuition and PCF staying the same, and the increase to 726. And that was due to the wonderful raise that all of our classified employees received. So our entire preschool staff is classified employees except for myself. Moving to the next table, this is the requested budget for next year. So moving to 14 sections, 14 classrooms of 3s and 4s and 31 staff. The total program cost would be 2.268 million. Tuition and the Ed Foundation bring in 1.321 million. The PCSD allocation would be 947, and the bottom new is what the expansion would cost.
And that's included in that 947.
And then after school expansion would be between 150K and 180K of an increase.
With the approval to the 400.
Raising tuition about $75 is what it currently is. We haven't raised tuition in over 8 years.
So now it's time for questions.
So the total ask is 400K, am I reading that right?
Yeah. That's the
With the
the preschool and the after school. I mean, yeah.
Yes,
The
the
school expan- the
221
classroom expansion.
and the 180, about 400K above what is needed this year. Yes.
Ready, we can 400K.
Well, a piece of it, great question. A piece of it already has built in 6% raise in the second year of the negotiated agreement. And so that's included here in the board a year ago to go through tax increase for that. I think the way taxes around the last couple of years, we may even be able just to maintain the rate really where we're at, but I'm sure we're gonna have to deal with the 2.2 increments that we talked about this last year with us. The rest of it, yeah, would be either reallocating dollars from other sources. Right now, we're not anticipating reducing staff necessarily. We made through some attrition, but not through any kind of rift type situation. Just because we're a little concerned about, not concerned, but we anticipate some future growth, and so we want to hold on to that staff for that future growth. So the rest of it would either come from reallocating current resources or tax increase, or what the legislature gives. For those of you that haven't seen, the governor's budget report recommended a 5% increase in the WPU. I think we're going to see some tug of war this session from legislators a little bit, kind of holding public ed hostage to some degree. Hostage may be a too big of an extreme word, but in dealing with that constitutional change that they're requesting, it's going to be on the ballot in 2024. And so my guess is we'll see some of the, hey, if that passes, you get this, if that doesn't pass, you get this for them type of situation. So
So you said some of the 400K is covered. Do you have a best guess of the actual amount we need to find?
So of that total amount, so the 1.2, if you look at just 900K going up to the 1.2, so 300,000. That was the large increase this year, and these programs are heavily, their expenses heavy salaries and benefits. I'm gonna guess probably a quarter to half of that is probably maybe that 6% increase plus benefits. We have built in some increase for medical insurance, and we built in 10%, although we don't know where that's going to be yet. We actually have a meeting this week, preliminary meeting on insurance. So I'm going to guess a quarter of it, quarter to half of it. The bulk of it's going to be the new positions and the increase in hours because we're servicing more students.
If you think about it, it's like opening a new school.
Yeah.
I'm very excited, but that's costing.
That's incredible.
Hi, Dan.
Hi.
Kelly.
Good.
Good. So the 4-year and 3-year-olds are all in district
Mhm.
kiddos. Are they all going to be accepted, or are there some that are not going to be accepted? Like, is it a lottery, or do we have slots
So
for all anticipated?
our current 3-year-olds get grandfathered into the four-year program.
Okay.
So that's 54 students currently. And then we traditionally have a lottery. And that's what that registration in February is for. So we'll have to see what kind of registration we get. From the survey, it seems like, we're gonna get a lot of people that are coming out, and it's, a really affordable option when you look at other
Yeah.
providers that are in the community, and it's in our district, and it is a wonderfully, school readiness program, so
So not everyone is gonna get it.
depends on what.
How many applied to, how many slots?
So right now we have 100 and, about 4-year-olds. With this build out, we can go to about 180.
Okay.
And what's your range, sir?
180.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so, a class size, we're still not gonna reach everyone's attention.
And do you know how that compares to demand? Do you have a projection on how that compares to demand? How many kids are we gonna turn on?
I'm not sure yet. I think from talking with other community providers that work in the space, if we offer 5 days a week and we offer all day and aftercare, at an affordable price with a sliding scale, we're gonna have a lot of people coming.
Yeah, yes. Question, you were saying something about the students with disabilities, so is that 3 and 4-year-olds?
Correct,
And is like early interventions, are they automatically at like
correct.
3-year-old gets in?
And they do not pay tuition,
Okay,
so on their 3rd birthday, they enroll with us
okay.
if they're in early intervention.
And the services, I mean, is it like starting super early with IEPs and like only getting on that
Yeah,
as soon as
yeah.
possible?
Yeah, we have 2 special educators that are inside the special ed budget, that case manage students and collaborate with teachers. So yeah, we start right away with an IEP, and they have that the baby show up.
Super.
Mhm.
2 more questions, sorry. Oh, do you think there's gonna be any issues hiring these additional staff? Just based on kind of issues with hiring?
No, so when I took this position, that was something that was expressed to me, is that how tough it is to hire for preschool.
Yeah.
But with the pay increase, I was calling people and saying, sorry, this job has been filled, but I want to keep your number because of expanding. So I had more applicants than I needed at the start of the school year to fill 4 positions. So it's, I think we're gonna have a lot of people show up.
Good job. Okay, and the last question, the additional space that you're taking in for the wraparound, or is that space being taken away from any other programming or any other, it's all there for that? So appropriate.
Yeah, the program, I mean, the buildings are set up so that you enter in to go to community ed and adult ed side, and then on the other side, it's just all pre-K side.
Cool, that's great.
And then a year from now, when we take care of 3-year-olds,
yeah,
but both Trailside and Parley's will have an additional 4-year-old class. So we will have a little more capacity
Okay.
than we have
Mhm.
in a year from now.
And then the 3-year-olds is just basically the same thing. So it's lottery, it's certain amount of spaces, it's just limited days.
No, we'll be able to expand a year from now.
Oh,
We'll
yeah,
work
right.
on, it was just a lot to bite off.
Yeah.
We think we can bite off that, but we will already have the spaces established.
Got it.
And we will work on the 3-year-old program for the next year to figure out what is best. Because we're not sure, we need to figure that all out. We've been touring around, visiting other programs, we've been looking at what the state offerings are. We're studying all of the readiness for oral language and pre-reading skills development. So what we have right now in 3-year-olds with 2 half days. There may be some students or some children who need more than that. So we're trying to figure out how we keep flexibility in there and provide the right amount of service. So we'll
so
work on
that was
that.
one of my follow-up questions, that's great. So we'll anticipate though, a budget ask for that expansion of 3-year-olds. Because it'll go from 2 half days to
3-year-olds,
something,
yeah, and part of the
Yeah.
Trailside 4-year-old program, because
that would be an added, okay, so anticipating that is.
So we will have room at all 4 sites for some more 3-year-olds, and we need to figure out what the best version of that is.
Looks like, okay. I just have one more question, I'm sorry.
You first, it's your meeting.
Well, I don't know, my question here is legit. When you say the, collaboration with community ed for after school, explain that a little bit more to me. Are you gonna be using other, like, so different professionals, different teachers will be coming in from different programs from the community?
That's basically how we're running our after-school program now.
Okay.
We're K through 5 right now, so we're
Okay.
just gonna expand it and add a coordinator and
Got
possibly
it.
2 aides to each class.
Got it, okay.
We'll be ready, we're, I mean,
Building
it's a
it.
big app, you have the right people, you
Yeah.
have beautiful places,
Yeah.
you have an opportunity for a one of a kind,
Yeah.
only one in the state, you know?
Yeah.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
So. Does anyone else have any questions? So now,
One
Go ahead.
follow up, so really follow up with you, so we should anticipate another budget ask. Do we have an idea what that budget ask is gonna be?
We do not yet.
So the buildings themselves are similar to McPoland and Jeremy, where each site is doubling its classroom size. So Trailside and Harlan's both have 2 classrooms, and the expansion will have 4.
So we do know how big it's going to be, but what we have been trying to figure out is how we're not sitting in front of you next December, because we don't want to do that. So what we would like to do is get ready for this spring, when you're going through the regular budget cycle, so you know a whole year ahead.
That's great.
Is that satisfactory if we work on the 3-year-old plan during the spring, so that you will have a whole year to get ready for that?
I mean,
Okay.
it seems to me this is not a tremendously large budget
No.
ask, right, for a significant
For an
impact, but,
significant.
you know. Understanding that there's more coming, right?
yeah, and I think it's great if you bring it to us in
Yeah.
April so we can look ahead. And along the same lines, I think, our goal when we started talking about this years ago and in terms of the capital projects and expanding, I think was to allow every kid who wanted to come to preschool to come. I think there's different ways you achieve that, right? And, you could have, larger class sizes, you can have half days, there's a lot of different ways to kind of slice that up to achieve that goal. I guess one thing I'm wondering, after you open the registration for the 4-year-olds, you'll have a pretty good idea of what the demand is for 4-year-olds, right? And is there a possibility, that solves your question for the 3-year-old program, right? Like if you have, you have 80 kids coming online for this fall, you're gonna have another probably 80 or 100 spaces for the following fall based on construction completion or more. Let's say you have, 100 kids on the wait list and the 4-year-old, after you open up registration, are you gonna look at that as possibly, okay, we're able to offer 4-year-olds full day, 5 days a week, and that's what we're gonna do, and then kind of leave 0 to 3 to community partners, PC Tots, preschool alliance, things like that. I mean, or is it hard and fast that we're going to do 3-year-olds and then leave 4-year-olds out, right? I mean, I guess what's the science behind it, and it doesn't have to be answered now, but I think as we look at this in April, if we take a relook at the whole budget, I think that's a really important question is, do we want to pivot and say, okay, universal preschool in Park City means that every 4-year-old who wants to get a spot gets a spot.
Yeah.
And 3-year-olds with IEPs?
Itinerant service protection.
Yeah. And
Yeah, I mean,
3-year-olds with IEPs.
Right.
Right. So I think we probably will have some kind of 3-year-old service, but
Right, I mean, if it's
Right.
federally required,
Yeah.
it's always been, right, in every district, but I think, you keep, we have, and I think part of this may change over time, right? We're going through demographic shifts in the
Yeah.
student body where we're gonna have fewer kids in the high school, and fewer kids at Ecker, and fewer kids at the elementaries, and so maybe we can increase even more preschool classes and add 3-year-olds in 3 years or 4 years or something like that. But I think let's look at those different options and be creative about that in the budget process and not just assume, okay, well, we have to have 3-year-olds as part of this, when, you know, the equitable thing is probably to have every 4-year-old we can possibly fit.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's just
Work on
one
that.
possibility.
And I think to your point, like, we have to wait to see.
Yeah.
Like, we got a bunch of great information from that survey, but when we open up registration in January and February, you know, by March, we'll know.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what I'm saying is like, pay close attention to that stuff and when we talk about this in April, and in March, when we start talking about it in March and April and February, let's try to socialize that information, because I think that'll be helpful, not only in the budget decision, but also in the programming decision for us.
For sure.
Yeah, because I'd be so curious, like, how many 4-year-olds are not getting in, right?
Yeah.
What is that number? It could be 2, it could be 50, I don't know.
You know, and maybe involve some of the community partners that are working on the preschool and the child alliance, right? Because, you know, they may say, hey, guys, we have 0 to 3.
Right.
And you guys do 4, and, you know, and if you're to do 4 and kindergarten, it's a home run for the community. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
like, let's just make sure that we're not, you know, acting independent of the rest of the community that's also trying to solve this issue.
And that's exactly what Christian Schultz at the Early Child Alliance has said in the conversation that occurs. If we can get more 3 and 4-year-olds in this, then it'll free up spots for the infant care that is, you know, such a high need in our community.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's always the trade-off, is like, where do the 3-year-olds go?
Right,
And,
right.
you know,
They're the cutest ones.
awesome.
Thank you.
This is great. Thank you.
Jill, do you have some
I
questions?
do, I just have a question, and that's more about, just like with kindergarten, when the district moved to full-day kindergarten, or just like the rest of the state now that they've moved, there's still an opportunity for families to say, I prefer a half day. And while not a ton of our families make that decision for kindergarten, there might be some who really still want the half-day 4-year-old opportunity.
Right.
Do you design the schedule as such so that the kids can still get kind of a half-day experience if a parent wants to come and pick them up, whether they're a morning or an afternoon, or do you just outline for the families, this is kind of the schedule? So you know, if you sign up in the mornings, you're gonna hear, you know, get more of the reading circles and the art time, and if you sign up in the afternoons, you're gonna get more of the movement, science, and whatever else that the kids are doing.
Yeah, I think the scheduling, you know, having a consistent curriculum and pretty consistent schedules across the district and the developmental age, you know, after lunch, they're taking less time. So I think it's gonna be important to let family know, like, this is our offering for a full day, and giving them the choice to decide when they want to bring their child in, and we want to support them to do so. So I think, yeah, letting the more community engagement information about what's developmentally appropriate and what our program looks like, so that they can make informed decisions.
So we are thinking carefully about when we can invite parents in so they can learn about the purposes of what is happening with their children. So that they can reinforce those same kinds of things at home. And though these spaces will create a great place for us to do that.
Awesome. Very, very cool.
Any other questions for the team? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Then I will entertain a motion to approve the preschool program expansion as discussed with the budget implications in the proposal.
I make a motion to expand the preschool program as discussed.
Second.
Okay, do we have any discussion or thoughts on their proposal?
We haven't answered.
With no further discussion, all those in favor of approving the preschool program expansion, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous. Congratulations.
Awesome.
Thank you.
It's pretty cool.
Really cool.
First district.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, let's do a public comment, since 5:10, and then we'll roll into policies. Do you have any, do
No.
you have any public comments? Okay, yeah, you wanna join us? Come on up. Yeah, please. Yeah, you can just, give it to Lori.
Hello, my name is Lori West. I'm a half-day high school teacher at Green Ridge Elementary. I sent a letter to some of you. So I'm all about options. I think the full day obviously has a lot of data and great things behind it. But I also think the half day is a great option too. And there's an option for families to be home with their children in the morning before they come to me. Half of my class goes to the school in the Pines, which we call the forest school. Half of those kids are gonna go every other day to that. It's a great complement to our program. It's all outdoor. They get dropped off on the trailhead. They spend the day, the morning outside. The lead teacher there now only brings kids to Jeremy Ranch. She loves our program because of our academic program. So they pull up in their bus with 5 kiddos from my class and come to our class. So she loves our program. As I said, that's the only school they'll drive to. So I love the options of full day. I just feel like my program, mine, is amazing too. And the kids that I have, each and every one of them chose to be with that program. They weren't like, oh, we can't get into the other program, we'll come here. They chose it. So I could tell you each kiddo and each kiddo's background. I have kids from actually the Trailside district who come over. I have kids from all over the district that come. So love that option. Would love to see that option continue. I see a lot of value in that as well. A lot of parents have pulled me aside and said, hey, I heard something's going on. How is this going to impact us? I have a lot of repeat parents, a lot of siblings that then take my class. Let's see, I kind of made some notes here. I'm trying to see. I guess that's my big thing is options are great. We have these new buildings going in. Let's fill them not with just one option, which is the full day, and I get it. Let's have lots of options. There's probably more than I'm not thinking of. And we've got phenomenal manpower and a team and leadership to get this all done. I just hope you consider keeping the little half program, plugging and shoving along. I see a need for it. I'm full every year. And besides, I love what I'm doing. So anyway, thank you for your time. Any
Thank you.
questions or anything else to do?
No, thank
Thank you very
For
much.
coming. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else on public comments? Okay, let's go to policies for posting. We have 6 today. We have policy 4,000 contingency reserves, policy 4015 disposal or transfer of fixed assets, 4020 district records management, policy 5015 transportation, policy 5020 school bus emergency situations, and policy 5025 student transportation. 5015 and 5025 are in fact different policies, just to be noted.
I make a motion to post the policies as stated.
Second.
Okay, do we have any questions on these 6? Okay, all those in favor of posting these 6 policies, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have 3 policies for adoption today. All 3 have been posted for the requisite period. Policy 1008, facilities development, policy 5000, which is emergency conditions, and policy 11,000 FERPA. I will entertain a motion to approve the 3 policies as read.
I make a motion to approve the 3 policies as read. Second.
Lori, do we have any public comment or input on these? Okay. Do we have any questions on any of these 3? Okay, all those in favor of adopting 3 policies, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that is approved. I will now entertain a motion to adjourn until our next regularly scheduled meeting, which is going to be the 16th of January, 2024 at 4 p.m.
I make a motion to adjourn until January 16th at 4.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.